Hello, and welcome to Japanese Craft Beer Reviews. Today, a warning for you, I'm not going to be reviewing a craft beer. It is a beer that is made for a large company by a Japanese major brewer. So it's contract brewed. And these days we're seeing more and more of that. The situation around beer taxes are being changed, and what we're finding now is that what they're trying to do is equalize the tax between different styles of beer. So here the situation is that 100% malt beers have been taxed at a much higher rate than low malt or no malt beers called happoshu or shin genre, new genre in Japan. And those low malt or no malt beers had been quite a bit cheaper and more popular because they, because of their price, and so all malt beers are at a disadvantage, and this kind of hurts craft brewers in Japan as well because they primarily brew all malt beers, and or if they do happoshu, it's often to get into the lower tax category, they may add a tinge of fruit or something to it, to their beer. But so that is the case, and so companies have been making low malt or no malt beers for quite a while, and this is one of them. The beer we're going to look at today is called Barreal Grand Rich Taste, and this is a 6% alcohol beer, and it is brewed by Kirin Brewing Company, one of the larger Japanese brewing companies for Eon. And this is Eon, their TopValu line, which is their brand, their kind of discount brand in their supermarket. And so it has been brewed by Kirin since 2018. Before that, it started in 2010, and it was brewed in Korea by Hite Jinro. You may know them from soju makers, but they also make beer. And it is not 100% malt. In fact, it's less than 25% malt. As you will see at the bottom, what does it say? It says beer like alcoholic beverage. So they're being honest and upfront about what this actually is. The selling point for this beer, of course, is the price. It was 118 yen before tax and 130 yen after tax, which would, at current rates, leave it around 90 US cents, so below $1. So, quite the thing for value-conscious people, which I can be. And I think many people will not review this beer or even try it, but I try everything just to see what's going on with them here. So the ingredients for this are malt, hops, unmalted barley, corn, sugar, and they stress that the sugar is domestic sugar. And this is how they're getting their alcohol. They're lightening things up with corn and getting their alcohol jump from this sugar added. Less than 25% malt, and it does not have spirits added, so it's not a fortified beer, which many cheaper beers are. They simply dump more alcohol in and raise their alcohol up to 5 or 6 or more that way. But it also contains ibuki hops, and they're touting the hops, which is a nice touch. They're becoming more conscious. Beer drinkers or consumers want to know a little bit more about what they are getting. And ibuki hops are Japanese hops, as it says, from Tohoku region, northern Japan. And ibuki hop is a very good hop. It's quite serviceable, and it appears in many Japanese major companies' beers. So it's not really a specialty hop, I wouldn't say, but they're giving it a little cachet here. Okay, well, should we give this one a go? On Rate Beer, there were no ratings for this one. There were some earlier ones. This, again, is a rebrand, so if you look on Rate Beer or a site like that, you will see it as just Barreal, not Barreal Grand. So this is a rebrand from March of 2023, this year, as Grand. Untapped 24 ratings when I checked, and the average was 2.46, so a little bit low overall, even for Untapped. All right. So this is a clear, medium dark gold color with a frothy head of foam. Nice fat finger. And okay, the aroma not so promising here. I'm getting some light weedy, kind of overripe, very overripe stone fruit. The 5% version of their Barreal Grand, which I have reviewed and I'll put in a playlist, had a much stronger kind of off-putting aroma. This one is not quite as bad. It definitely has a kind of stone fruit, maybe apple, like peach, something like that. Not terrible, not great. Okay, fruity. Very mild bitterness. Gets sort of like fruit juice in the middle, like a strong apple juice. Okay, this is a little bit better than the 5% beer that I have reviewed from them, just called Barreal Grand, not Rich Taste. I wouldn't say the taste is rich, but richer than the 5%er. Mild, kind of innocuous. Bitterness is thin, but it doesn't leave that off-putting coating of kind of compost or mulch, fermented greenery on your tongue that the 5% one did. This is tolerable, but not terribly a beer you might want to get unless you really are at the level of 130 yen versus 230 or so now or 220 for a regular Japanese major craft beer, but not craft beer. I'm sorry, major beer from one of the major brewing companies. Once again, this is called Barreal Grand Rich Taste. It's a 6% low malt beer, less than 25% malt. It's tolerable. I can't recommend it that highly, but you may want to try it out and see what it's like. I try everything just for the purposes of research, to see what's going on out there. And that is it for today. I hope you will subscribe to the channel and leave me a comment if you've had these beers or other low malt beers, no malt beers, happo-shus, whatever you want to call them. Tell me about it and let's have a little conversation. All right, take care. Bye-bye.